Well, there you have it. There's always some great advice here on the Mind Over Matter show, so make sure you stay locked.
Hi there, how you doing? My name is Stevie Ritchie and this is episode 6 of Mind Over Matters TV. And today I'm joined by a special guest and no other than the amazing, talented one that she is. It is Ria Fire.
Woohoo!
So Ria, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming in, and this is all new to you, isn't it?
It is.
You're very kind of, you didn't know what to expect. You're sort of like a little bit, I saw you in the green room. You're a little bit sort of shaky, but you're also relaxed, and you're a performer as well.
Yes, modelling primarily, yeah.
Right. Do you sing, dance, and all that?
Singing is probably not something anyone wants to hear, but I do dance, yeah. I'm currently revisiting ballet after 25 years, yeah.
Oh my God, I used to do ballet. I love it.
Yeah?
It's great, yeah.
I actually just booked in the green room to go see the Nutcracker on Christmas
No way.
Eve. Yeah, I thought I've got to do it.
Oh
So that was my little, that's why I'm calm, because I've just booked, I know I'm going to go book to see the Nutcracker on Christmas Eve.
Oh my God, that is so amazing. So you're a woman of all talents.
Wow.
But more importantly, you're here today to talk about you and your mental health, your life, what you've been through.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of just go with you now. I want to sort of take it over to you because this is all about you. It's not all about me. I'm just doing the presenting side of it. But so my first question to you.
Yeah.
Obviously mental health is a big issue for many people. I've had it, we've all had it, and it affects in many ways with different people.
Yeah.
So tell us about your mental health and how you overcome it, your story basically.
Okay, gosh.
Go for it.
So my story is pretty complex. I have had undiagnosed mental health issues probably for the whole of my life. I grew up in a very dysfunctional family as an only child, with kind of not an emotionally nurturing environment. Unfortunately, I also went to a private school where I was bullied because I didn't fit in. So even as a child, I really struggled to find my place in the world. And I think as I was growing up, I didn't really fit in with other people because I was grown up socially isolated. So I didn't make all those human connections, and I still now kind of find it difficult to make human connections. But I think that's also because I have ADHD.
Right.
So I think they all like kick off each other. But I've always had anxiety, I'd say, and quite a low mood. Growing up, so my grandma died unfortunately when I was younger.
Oh, perhaps.
And she was a big rock for me, and when she died, that's when I had my first really, really depressive episode. I was put on antidepressants and given like baseline talking therapy. I didn't really connect with it, and I was so young. I think I was like 14. I didn't really,
Young.
Yeah, but like I said, I'd struggled before.
Right.
Because I was always a misfit.
Yeah.
I never really felt comfortable in my own skin. I didn't fit in with the posh people at school because I went to a private school. But then because I went to a private school, I didn't connect with the kids that were like on the streets in the area that I grew up in. So yeah, I found my childhood quite difficult. I, as I said, was bullied quite viciously at school, at that private school. And then my grandma died, and that's when I got put on the antidepressants. And kind of from then on in, I think as I went through and matured and through puberty, and you kind of start understanding the world a bit more, I realised the world's not a very nice place.
No, you're right.
So I was diagnosed with clinical depression and anxiety when I was about 14, 15.
Wow.
I've been on and off antidepressants pretty much since then. I had some very traumatic experiences with a group of friends, which are kind of unresolved. I didn't seek therapy for. I didn't really know that there was therapy out there. That really impacted my life in a very, very negative way. Basically I was sexually assaulted.
Oh my gosh.
And like I say, TMI, full disclosure here, but it's part of my journey, so I think it's worth including. And I didn't it didn't get taken seriously by the police, and then you feel even more I was already isolated. I felt even more isolated, and I became physically unwell then because the mental health was really. I didn't have like a stable. I don't know, like my head was messed up, so it started messing my body up in a big way. So I now have Crohn's disease and ankylosing spondylitis. They're two autoimmune diseases which I've now found out, speaking to psychologists and psychiatrists, is probably as a result of constantly being in fight or flight mode as a child.
Right.
My nervous system was constantly
Fired up and down.
it was adrenaline, so it really impacts. So now I've got these autoimmune conditions. So my physical health started taking a beating. My mental health again hadn't really been looked at. We live in a society where, as a woman, you have these expectations of you. You've got to get married, you've got to have kids.
Pressure, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you've got to have a
totally.
good job,
Yeah.
you've got to have kids, but you've also got to be a high-flying businesswoman. So I basically did as I was told at school. I was a really good girl at school because I wanted to get a good job. I thought I needed to tick off all of these little achievements in life.
Cool, yeah.
And I got married
Wow.
when I was 27.
27 years old?
Yeah,
Wow.
and he was a lovely guy, but I was very broken mentally, very broken physically as well. My physical health was really bad. But I married him because he was a nice guy, not because I loved him and wanted to spend the rest of my life with him.
Right.
Being in that marriage, I expected that marriage to be like, well, that's the goal that everyone is striving to achieve. I got there and I was still mentally incredibly unwell, and I was actually the most physically unwell I've ever been. And I kind of took a long hard look at this isn't right. We weren't good for each other in the relationship. I was trying to get out, and the marriage ended. It needed to end. We weren't suited to each other.
We kept on arguing and...
Yeah. I was trying to push him away. I didn't want to be in that relationship, but I thought that's what's expected of me. So when the marriage ended, my whole place in this world imploded because I'd no longer ticked off the marriage, you can have kids, sort of thing, and I was sectioned. I was very, very, very mentally unwell. I spent 5 weeks in a psych hospital. I was diagnosed with BPD, which is actually in question now. They don't think I have BPD. This is one of the things, the struggles I think I faced with mental health, is it's so particular to that person. You can't do a blood test to say, well, you've got this mental health condition. You can't do an x-ray and say, well, therefore you're suffering from this. It's all very situational, and they overlap a lot. So I was diagnosed with BPD, and I was given lots of help to put myself back on my feet. And I was so relieved once I got over the shock of being out of the marriage and letting my parents down and letting myself down, and I'm now no longer a woman because I'm not married and all of this. Once I got over that, like the mist lifted, I got really vibrant. I went back to work, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
I actually found COVID to be very therapeutic because I didn't have to go and be in front of people. I wasn't working at the time. I was on a career break because of the breakdown and the divorce and all of that.
Yeah, a lot going on, yeah.
It was a lot going on, but then I went back into my financial services and had a very negative experience and had another breakdown.
Wow.
I know, honestly, like, how is she still smiling?
You are like going through the wars.
I had another breakdown, and it was really, really, really bad again.
The
Because
worst one, like worse than the others.
I wasn't hospitalised, but I kind of knew, because I'd been hospitalised before, I have a community mental health team. I was immediately sent to a psychiatrist. I was given lots of support, probably not the right support, but there we go. I knew what to expect. I'm going to be honest, I was suicidal for the second time in my life.
Oh my god.
But I understood what it was, and I had the reference that I got over it before, so I've just got to ride this wave. I had to change my working situation, and as part of going through the mental health team then, they said you don't have BPD, which is borderline personality disorder.
Right.
I was having nightmares, I was having flashbacks, I was having full body like hallucinations. You actually have PTSD, complex PTSD. You don't have BPD. We now think you have complex PTSD. Here's loads of meds, do all of this stuff.
Wow.
And that all, as I say, my work situation completely changed this summer, and I'm on a journey. I've completely left that financial services career behind because, again, that wasn't an environment that was good for me. So now I'm pursuing my dream of being a model. And
wow, fantastic.
I'm divorced, proudly divorced now. I'm still on my mental health journey, but show me a human being that isn't. Do you know what I mean?
We all are, Ria. We all are in life. You know, everyone goes through it of some kind. You obviously more than others, from what you've told me.
It has been a journey, but I think the reason why I found it so difficult is because of the expectation of what a society should be as you as a human.
Yeah.
All this expectation on you, and because my reality didn't meet that expectation, that's what started the mental decline.
Right.
But now I'm gone. I don't want to do that job. I don't want to be married. I want to be my own person. I found Ria again after 35 years.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm happy. I have off days.
Yeah, we all do.
And I think the ADHD also is again, that's a new diagnosis. It's making me realize, well, perhaps some of those things that were misdiagnosed as anxiety in the past was actually ADHD. So the treatment that they give you didn't work because it wasn't intended to sort anxiety and depression. We needed to manage our ADHD symptoms.
Wow.
So long story short, that's where I am.
Do you know what? I mean, just hearing all that, I'm just like hearing everything. It's a lot to take in.
I know, right?
It is.
So how long have we got?
You know, but I can't imagine how how you felt at the time. I want to just before we wrap up and everything, because I'm very interested in when you said you were a misfit. You said you're a misfit. Did it all begin when you were like a teenager, when you were at school, where you just felt you couldn't fit in anywhere? You felt like a bit of a kind of a lonely soul, a lonesome kind of soul.
Yeah, so I've always so I was an only child, so I didn't have any brothers or sisters to bounce off of.
Right, no
so
brothers.
I kind of created, in my household, I was the only child, so I did everything by myself. I played by myself, I had a dog, so I spoke to the dog, I played with my teddies. I didn't have anyone else around me to kind of bounce off.
Right.
So I just went with what made me happy. As I say, I had a very difficult childhood, very, very dysfunctional family life. And
did your parents love you and, cuddle with you, hold you, support you?
Not in a way that would have been nurturing for a child. They did what they did and they did what they could.
Right.
And I don't want to take that away from them because they also came from troubled environments. And unfortunately, if you don't recognise that you're a troubled person, they say, don't they? Healed people, hurt people, hurt people.
Yes. That is very, very true, and I like that. I like that saying.
Yeah.
I actually never heard of that. But
have you never heard?
I've never heard of it ever at all. But now you've said that, it rings bells, doesn't it? Well, for me, for you, for everyone.
Yeah. So
wow.
My mum was very hurt as a child, so unfortunately, she didn't have the awareness, and she kind of treated me how she was treated because that's all she knew. She didn't go, hang on, is this the right way to treat a daughter? Anyway, it is what it is. So I grew up quite isolated. I went to a private school, but my family weren't posh. So I didn't have the funds to go horse riding at the weekend. I wore crap shoes from the cheap shop where they were walking around in kickers. They'd all got designer bags. I got like some crappy high-tech bag. So I immediately visually didn't fit in. I didn't fit in their social circles. And I was really clever. The one thing that I lost myself in is school. That was my escape because home was awful, being bullied was awful, but I'm going to be the best I can possibly be at school because sod you all, I'm going to throw myself into that. And I was really clever. So because I was really clever and I just stuck out like a sore thumb. And I left that school when I was 15. Again, a big incident happened at the end of when I left that school. Big incident. And I left. I went to a different school, a boys' school. So
boys'
I am a girl.
Well, were you the only girl there?
I was one of, so it was a grammar school.
Right.
I wanted to study government and politics.
Oh, right.
And none of the other schools in the area did government and politics to full A level. So you could, if you were sporty, or if you were good at drama, or if you were good at like technology, it was a big grammar school. So you could go and in sixth form, the girls, if you excelled at sport, it was where the rugby team, so it's Northampton. So it's big rugby town.
Northampton, yeah, I know it.
Yeah, so if you were good at sports, you went into Northampton School for Boys. You did technology, they had a technology lab. It was like a really big thing.
Wow.
But I wasn't any of the above, I just wanted to go and do government and politics. So I was one of 25 girls in my year.
No way.
And to be honest, I loved it. My grades took a massive dive.
Oh dear.
But that was the first time I saw what it was like in the real world. I wasn't in a posh school where everyone was driving their Ferraris to work, getting their helicopter landing on the roof. No, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
With me and my little stick and my little bundle on the back of it, trudging along in a blazer that was 6 times too big. I like fit in, and actually I left home at that time. I left home when I was just turning 16, because home was awful. At that time,
You've got such a lot of life skills.
do you know
now.
what? It's just gone mad.
Like you have lived the life of probably like an 86-year-old
I have.
right now. And how old are you now, you say?
I'm 35.
35. It seems like she's living on to 86. Ria, so just to wrap up, what is next for Ria Fire in the next year or two? What is your goal before we wrap up?
My goal is I'm now pursuing the modelling career that I've always wanted. So I am going to be getting an agency contract. I'm sure of it. I'm manifesting it. I've just, I'm going to make modelling my full-time career.
Brilliant.
And I'm a Samaritan.
Oh wow.
I have to give back, and I'm also considering doing a job in mental health as well.
Oh, well, you know what? Great advocate for it, because obviously you've been through a lot, and no doubt people will watch this and can relate to you in some sort of way and go, wow, she has just been through so much. Ria, thank you so much for joining me today, and here, of course, a Mind Over Matters TV episode 6. Please keep on following and keep on supporting, and if you've got a story, why not come on our show? I've been Stevie Ritchie, this is Ria Fire. We'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bye bye.